So this week I'm bringing you 3 different ways to turn your dresses into 2-piece sets. Now, all of the bottoms are skirts and I would have done a shorts version, but it requires a lot more fabric and it's overall just more difficult to do. So I thought I would show you guys the simpler options, but if you are interested in a shorts tutorial, comment it down below and maybe I'll do one in the future. Other than that, let's just get into the video. The first garment is this maroon colored fall dress. I am taking that over to my mirror and using just a normal sewing pin to mark where I want to cut the top. So I'm folding that in half and cutting along that pin. For the hem of the shirt though, I'm going to take my pinking shears and cut all the way around that, just so that I don't have to do a double rolled hem. I'm changing my thread also from white to black. If you don't have pinking shears though, you could just do a double rolled hem or just a normal hem without the pinking. I just thought this would be a fun thing to do. And after that was done, here is how the seam looked. I then did the exact same thing to the top of the skirt. The bottom was already hemmed from it being a dress. And once that was done, I pinned a flap and then the area where I wanted to overlap the skirt. I'm doing this so that I can take in the waist because it was so large. Then I'm sewing from pin to pin to create that flap. And then I am getting out all my buttons, going through, seeing what I think will match well. I ended up just going with this super basic black one, and then I threaded my needle with some button and carpet thread and attached that. For the flap portion though, I'm grabbing my button foot and creating a buttonhole. These aren't too hard to do by hand though, so you can do that as well if you don't have a buttonhole foot. Unfortunately, it was too small, so I extended it a bit, but after that, it was done. Next up is this very shapeless blue striped off the shoulder dress. So I am returning to my mirror, placing a pin where I want to cut and doing that while it is folded in half. For the hem, I'm actually going to fold it over twice, so like a double rolled hem, so that even inside out you can't see a raw edge. Sewing all the way around that with a straight stitch. For the skirt part though, we are not going to just hem it. I am instead going to grab some elastic and measure my waist where I want my skirt to hit. So mine was the smallest point. And then going over and cutting that, I'm going to take my pins and attach the end of the elastic to the left side seam and then the other end right next to that, so it creates a loop. And in that loop, I'm going to find the center of the elastic and pin it to the right side seam, so it's across the skirt evenly. Then finding the half of both the left and right of that elastic part so that it is completely spread out evenly throughout the entire waist of the skirt. Now I'm going to do a quick back stitch and then stretch the elastic out to the next pin point so that it gathers up all the material. This is how I'm cinching it to my waist. Unfortunately, the elastic just would not stretch enough to meet the entire length of the skirt, so I did a quick new side seam to take that in, and then I just cut off the excess material. That was done for me though. I like the ruffle look. Unfortunately, it was a little uneven, so I had to trim it up. And if you don't like the raw edge look, you could fold it down and sew another seam, but I was done. Last but not least is this super simple black 3/4 sleeve dress. So instead of a pin, I'm using chalk this time to mark where I want to cut, and then I'm doing that with it once again folded in half. For the skirt, I'm going to sew a 1-inch channel along the bottom, and then I'm taking some ribbon I got on clearance for 74 cents and cutting that to size, threading it through some snips I made in the front. You could also use an old hoodie string. I've done that before and it works great. But after that, I'm moving on to the shirt, which I'm actually cutting the majority of the sleeve off of. They were a bit too tight and I didn't really like where they sat. Then for the bottom, I'm just doing a quick hem and it's done. Such an easy transformation, so if you have some ribbon, definitely try this one out. those were all of the two-piece sets that I made. I think my favorite would have to be this sweater dress with the button. I think that's such a fun detail, but I would love to hear your favorites in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like it and subscribe for future content similar to this. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.